Hello, my Spuggins. It is I, Art of Blood, the ghoul next door, and I've been meaning to do this for a while. This is the Dracula Tag. I saw this on the Late Late Horror Show about about a month or so ago, and I can't remember the name of the guy who actually created it. But if you go to the Late Late Horror Show, you'll see their Dracula Tag, and then you'll see the link to the guy. So here we go. 1 second. Blind without these things. Okay, so question number 1. What is your favorite Dracula movie of all time? Well, for me, that is the 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula starring Gary Oldman. Question number 2. Who had the best portrayal of Van Helsing? Again, I am going to say Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992 with Sir Anthony Hopkins. Question number 3. Who had the best portrayal of Dracula? Who was the best Dracula? I'm repeating myself here, but Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992 and Gary Oldman, of course, as Dracula. Question number 4. What has been your favorite weapon to defeat Dracula? Sunlight. Sunlight. Question number 5. What was the worst Dracula film of all time? I don't know, you can probably hear my refrigerator just cut in. Question number 5. What was the worst Dracula film of all time? The worst Dracula film of all time was Dracula 3000. With Casper Van Dien as the Van Helsing character. I regret having watched it. I saw that way back when it first came out. Unfortunately, I thought that it was the next in line for the Dracula 2000 series, but guess what? It's not. Nothing to do with it at all whatsoever. Dracula 3000 actually takes place in space, and it shouldn't. It's just the worst idea ever. Question number 6. What is your favorite scene from a Dracula film? My favorite scene, if you go back once again to Bram Stoker's Dracula, between Van Helsing and Dr. Seward, when they're standing over Lucy's coffin and Seward says, "I need you to get for me before nightfall such a postmortem knives." "An autopsy? Lucy? No, I just want to cut off her head and take out her heart. Check, check." I love that line. I love the way it's delivered. You have this kind of deadpan humor coming from Van Helsing and this absolute horror, this despair, this shock, this disgust coming from Seward, and it just plays so beautifully. Question number 7. What is the best line from a Dracula film? I'm actually going to switch gears now and go to Love at First Bite with George Hamilton, and his line, "Renfield, I'm not even a bat anymore. I'm just a big black chicken." So, Renfield, I'm not even a bat anymore. I'm just a big black chicken. Question number 8. What is the best parody or comedy version of Dracula? Well, that's a toss-up between Love at First Bite and Dracula Dead and Loving It. Question number 9. What film had the worst representation of Dracula? Dracula's Guest. I did a review on that a while back, so you'll find, it was horrible. It was an independent film, but it was just everything wrong that could go wrong went wrong, and yeah. Question number 10. What movie has the best Dracula death scene? You know what? Let's kick it old school for this one and say the 1922 version of Nosferatu, which, by the way, is what introduced the whole idea of sunlight being able to destroy a vampire. So, Nosferatu, 1922, when he's kind of distracted and doesn't realize the sun is rising, and suddenly he's gone. And he clutches his chest and he's gone. Because in folklore, the sun really doesn't have anything to do with anything. It was that movie that introduced sunlight as being a weapon. Question number 11. What is the most underrated Dracula film? I'm going to skip out of the film and point you to a TV show and say Dracula the series. Not the NBC one that was on a couple years ago, but way back, 20-something years ago. Dracula the series aired here in Canada on YTV. It's the one about the kids who moved to Europe and have to fight Alucard. Question number 12. What are my thoughts on the 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola? Brilliant. I think it is probably the best rendition of Dracula, even though they moved away from a lot of this. Well, I can't say it moved away from the story. It's probably one of the most faithful adaptions of the story, even though they introduced the whole love story idea between Dracula and Mina and the reincarnation idea. And as much as people believe it is the first movie to bring in that idea that of the real Vlad Tepes, it's not, but it's probably the one that handled it the best. So, what do I think of? I love that movie. Oh God, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it as I love it. It's my favorite vampire movie. It's my favorite adaptation of Dracula. It's one of my favorite dramas. So, okay, that's about it. I've babbled enough. So, until next time, creeping screams.